Imagine this, you're a 20-year-old American female starting a full-time year-round job alongside your male coworker, putting in an equal amount of time and effort. It's your only job and you're working to support yourself and your family. And then you find out that you've been paid so unfairly that you would have to work until you're 72 years old to earn the same money your male counterpart made at 60. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Uliana and welcome to my TED Talk. I'm here on behalf of America to speak and raise awareness about the gender wage gap in the United States. The specific question I aim to answer is, has the COVID-19 pandemic had a positive impact on female employment and gender wage gap in the United States, and how will it change going forward? Firstly, let me explain what the gender wage gap is. The gender wage gap is an issue regarding unequal pay for the same job based on your gender. This is usually biased towards men and affects women in a negative way, but there are instances where men suffer from this issue as well. According to Investopedia, the gender wage gap first emerged in America as a political issue in the 1860s. It is astonishing that the problems have not only persisted, but have gone even worse since then. This all relates back to the broad spectrum of sexism. The ignorance of women's rights and discrimination against them leads to conflict and tension in our society. Ignorance is a term meaning the lack of knowledge or information, and because there are so many ignorant individuals in our society right now, our job is to educate them on topics such as this to make sure no conflict is caused. Speaking of, conflict is an active disagreement between two individuals or sides with different viewpoints, unwilling to come to a compromise or try to make sense of the other's ideas. To put into perspective how serious this issue is, according to the 2020 status of women and girls in Minnesota, for every dollar a white male makes, a white female makes 79 cents, while women of other racial backgrounds such as Latino and Native American can make as little as 54 cents for every dollar made by a white man. If you think it's hard for white men, think about how this affects women of color. In accordance with the AAUW website, which is an organization aiming to make a change regarding this issue, in 2017, 107 of 114 occupations with at least 50,000 men and 50,000 women had statistically significant pay differences that favored men. 6 professions had no significant difference, and only 1 had a divide that benefited women. According to the National Women's Law Center, in 2020, the labor market transformed drastically. Millions of jobs were lost, especially among low-wage workers, and many others dropped out of the labor force entirely. Women usually work in lower-wage jobs as they require less education and give more frequent breaks. According to the Gender Policy Report, in today's society, the gender wage gap is majorly caused by discrimination, underestimation, differences in education, but most of all, childcare responsibilities. Women are expected to stay home and care for children while men are the breadwinners at work. But this is not the case for women who live alone with their children. The issue and the coronavirus are not only affecting women, but they are also affecting their families at home, who depend on them for everything. During this pandemic, not only are people losing their jobs, they are also unable to find new ones, as they do not have enough qualifications or practice, as everything has been restricted by the pandemic. Therefore, answering my question earlier, has the COVID-19 pandemic had a positive impact on female employment and the gender wage gap in the United States, and how will it change going forward? No. The pandemic has made things worse, and things will go even more downhill from here if we don't work to make a change. You may be wondering, well, how exactly do I make this change? You can educate yourself on these issues and support organizations that fight for these rights. Make sure you yourself are not prejudiced towards women and that you believe we all deserve equal pay for our efforts. This way, one by one, we can change future and workforces for women, including myself. Fight sexism.